Hello and good evening. Very nice, very nice. You look beautiful. I'm so happy. Oh. I'm so happy to see you all today. You made a good choice. You made a really good choice. Perfect day. The poems that are necessary for your soul are going to be heard today. So I'm Brenda Leon, and I'm the co-host with Sarah Browning of Wild Indigo. And this is only our second time, y'all, and look how beautiful you are. So I want to give you some directions first. But before that, I have to thank our incredible guitarist, again, Mike Albrecht. So Young American is doing a lot of things right now. And I invite you to sample all of the incredible drinks, and there's some wonderful food. So, and of course, be kind and show your love by tipping your bartender and tipping your servers. Books, we have Uncle Bobby's who's here. Ilana is wonderful and is selling in the back. I also want to give you a heads up that we're going to do a celebration because Sister Sonia has just turned 90. And so we do have cake and some bubbly at the end of our time together. So, you know, if you are able to stay with us, we have some cake to share. And also, housekeeping things. So restroom, there is one restroom. It's through the not Uncle Bobby's, Young American, through the door to the right, okay? So I'm so happy to be with you all. And as we do, we always acknowledge the lands on which we are, which are stolen lands. Philly, the home of the Lenape people, this space was home to and cared for and is home to and is cared for by Native peoples, the Lenape people of Lenape-Hoking and the Pawtuxet of Delaware Bay. We recognize these tribes as strength and history of resistance to colonization. And we commit to honoring their history, presence, and future. And when we do this remembrance of where we are in the land stewards, we recognize that the Ramapo Lenape Nation, the Powhatan Lenape Nation, the Nanticoke of Millsburg, Delaware, the Lenape of Chesapeake, Delaware, and so many more peoples are the rightful stewards of this space. And of course, our modern systems of growing food and owning property are built on the stolen land of indigenous people, the enslavement of African people, the genocide of both Native and Black peoples. We are living in the time of genocide. These violent acts continue to impact Black and indigenous communities today, and they are not the only communities. We must understand and name those realities. I know that every time I do such an acknowledgement, because I cannot give people their land back, I donate. So I am donating to the Nanticoke Lenape Nation. It's nlltribalnation.org. So just as one thing to model to you all. So we are also very honored because we have an incredible videographer today documenting our time. Alex is in the back. So, and live streaming direct to YouTube. So welcome people who might be watching us in the interwebs and the cloud and beyond. So I also, we have our housekeeping. So we want to recognize too Stephanie, thank you for tapping things and making sure it's going to work. That Stephanie is our collaborative partner from Young American and has been an incredible partner. Young American, if you haven't been here before, how many this is your first time? Oh, okay, don't make us relax. It's an incredible space, great cider, but also great other things. And is also a graphic designer, so anything that looks good is partly in relationship. So, and the other partners that we have are the Essentials Review, so and Nala. So the Central Review has an anthology that is in process right now with FlowerSong Press. And the first 15 years, we have been in existence for 16 years, going very close to 17. And in that time, we published over 1,000 Latinx voices. And NALAC gave me money to do this anthology, and it also allowed me to pay for documentation and to pay poets. So I celebrate this partnership. Our other partner, Sarah's going to introduce, but that's Reclaim Philadelphia.
Down in the back. So no, you don't need to get up on the mic. No, this is better.
No, on the mic.
Oh, up on the mic is better. Okay, poets. How's that? Okay, great. Thank you all so much for coming, and to our incredible featured poets, Carmen Calatayud, Roberto Garcia, and I'm sorry. I thought you knew. Okay. Roberto Carlos Garcia. There you go. And the legendary Sister Sonia Sanchez. We just can't believe this is only our second time, and it's just incredibly beautiful. You know, one of my other great models in this work at the intersection of poetry and social justice, Adrienne Rich. She wrote, "When poetry lays its hand on our shoulder, we are, to an almost physical degree, touched and moved. The imagination's roads open before us, giving the lie to that slammed and bolted door, that razor-wired fence, that brute dictum, there is no alternative." Our vision for the Wild Indigo Poetry Series is exactly this: to expose that lie, that there is no alternative to the deeply unjust society in which we live. To build that alternative with our wild imaginations and our open roads. To build community that is multiracial, multicultural, multi-generational, and multidimensional. To engage our neighbors in movements for social justice, to showcase a diverse lineup of contemporary, local, and national poets, and most months, though not this month, because we have 3 poets, one of whom is Sonia Sanchez, to give opportunities for local poets to share their work on an open mic. So if you're a poet or a poet wannabe, or you've written ever a poem and you want to share it on the open mic, come back next month and we'll be telling you more about the poets who are coming up in the coming months. We are so glad you're here with us on this road together. It's now my great pleasure to introduce to you the Executive Director of Reclaim Philadelphia. Reclaim is a progressive organization here in our city, obviously, reclaiming our city for the people, away from the billionaires and the profit mongers. And Reclaim believes, as you'll hear from our next speaker, in the power of culture to help us harness the people's power. So, without further ado, it's my great pleasure to give you the Executive Director of Reclaim, Seth Anderson Oberman.
How are we feeling tonight? My God, y'all are beautiful. Just beautiful faces on a beautiful evening. Here to share space and imagine and envision what a different world could look like, what a different Philadelphia could look like, what a different Germantown could look like. My name is Seth Anderson Oberman. I am the Executive Director of Reclaim Philadelphia. I grew up in this neighborhood, born and raised. My wife and I raised our 2 children on that block right there of East Duval Street. And I took every single class I could as a Temple student with this amazing woman right here. at Temple in the 90s. And it is just such, it blows my mind. It is beyond an honor to be here with you tonight, Mama Sonia, celebrating you and everything that you have contributed to poetry, to our movements, to the world. In celebration of you on your 90th birthday. You've inspired so many people, and me being, you know, I don't want to say top among them, but because you've inspired a lot of people, I don't want to put myself, but you know, you have certainly inspired me to do this work. And when I was a student, I remember very clearly how your vision for art and poetry and you know, to be centered and part of the movement that we are building. And I'm inspired by you. I'm inspired by the words of Paul Robeson, who said, you know, every artist must choose to fight for freedom or slavery. I have made my choice. I had no alternative. And the role that the arts plays in building community and bringing us together and supporting each other and giving us a respite and a chance to breathe from the fights and the struggles that we are in to make our city and world a better place is just an incredible part of this movement that we need to hold up and lift up. And I couldn't be more proud to be, you know, to be working with Wild Indigo to create this space and bring people into this radical space so that we can do this work together. You know, we're fighting for things at Reclaim Philadelphia, and I know lots of us who are here today are also in struggles, but we're fighting for, you know, housing as a human right. We're fighting for a livable wage job, a family-sustaining job as a human right. We're fighting for race, class, gender justice as human rights, and to expand what we call democracy in this country that we have not yet reached, but we are building together. And it's an honor and a privilege to be here with you all tonight. And we've got a table in the back. Jason, can you raise your hand back there? If you guys, and Tess, and those are two of my comrades back there, and we need you to join Reclaim. We need you to join us. We need to fight together for the things that we need in our communities and our city. So please stop by the table, pick up some information, sign up, and enjoy this incredible night with visionary poetry and community and under this incredible sky and this incredible mural. And I'm going to just turn it over to Raina now. But thank you all so much for being here. And we look forward to seeing you in the streets, to seeing you in the ballot box, and fighting for everything that we need to make this a radical egalitarian society, which we do not have. All right, Raina. Registration deadline is tomorrow. We have voter registration forms at the table if you are not yet registered. And there is a satellite election office for the Northwest at 5301 Chew Avenue. Go there tomorrow and register. You can do everything from there. Register, early vote, everything. If you haven't done that, make sure you go, okay? Thank you.
And take a friend. So I am your warm-up for the poetry to come today. So I'm going to read a poem, a new poem. And then Roberto is going to join us, and I will warm you up. Warm it up. I'm going to warm up the space that we're holding together before he comes. So this new poem is called Protest, and the only things you need to know are Peppa Pig is a show that children watch, the cartoon. And I made a mistake in potty training my daughter because I know that She's supposed to feel the urgency and like go to the bathroom and be ushered in and sit. She did not want to sit. And so I gave her the phone. This was an error. This was a bad mistake. Because for those of you who do not have children, what this means is that every time she goes to the bathroom, she wants a phone. She wants Peppa Pig. And so it becomes this like meditative space for her. So that's important. I'm also going to play you a little bit of our interaction, which says a lot about my little one. And thinking about the preciousness of our babies, protest. No Peppa, no potty, she says while she hardens her eyes, drops her mouth softness to stone grimace. She will not go, though she must. No Peppa, no potty. When I remind that she can watch as I do her hair. Our morning ritual, love and tender brush, the tangles releasing to the oils in my hands. I offer her this lesson. I support and celebrate her ability to choose even her own body's work. Always I will affirm her right, but protest for free life. Is this the time? Should I tell her about the girl in the bombed out car? Her family dead around her, how she called for help, the pleading of many tongues, help fleshy to its tooth-breaking pit. All she received was her body's retrieval when the bullet stopped gutting metal. How to cut the wisp of my daughter with this, a name, Heimer Job, which means not only gentle dear, but tender, a name, which means respect to all, to fear, gentle to all, the feared dear. How to feed my daughter on fat and lean of new words, atrocity and devastation and genocide, protest. I tell her instead about the children without running water and without light or food or cupcakes. She is 4. What should I tell her about how the killers used the cries of children like her to call the people out to explode the bombs in their tanks, the gatherings of limbs to bury wrapped in white, how one body becomes the communal body, not this. There was a picture of a little girl in a graduation gown. Behind her delicate tulips, the color of hair bows set in the silk of her hair. Like my daughter's hair, pastels, the color hair bows should be. Maybe she wanted to be a doctor like my daughter, like the 2 ambulance workers who died trying to save her. She was 5. 335 bullets were fired into the car. My daughter has just learned to count to 12. No Peppa, no potty. It is a first protest. I tell her we must stand for something. We can sit too for something. Protest for life. A protest is a way to help every child. Even a child can do this. We must protest for the good of the people. Protest to live. We are the people. Live out a gentle all without fear. My daughter wants to be a healer someday. But today she learns her body can be a protest. And how it must be. Thank you. Thank you, y'all. My daughter has the most beautiful laugh. You are the most beautiful people. You are beautiful and loved and someone's babies, and I love you. Our first poet, featured poet, is Roberto Carlos Garcia. bio, but I know he's gonna be like, okay, I'm ready. But I don't want him to come so fast because I want you to clap for him, right? I want you to welcome him in delight and applause, but I haven't read the bio yet. I'm not ready. So I'm gonna read the bio and then we're gonna clap. Now I want you to clap a certain way. I know it's wild, but I'm gonna ask you to do some things before you clap. So here's the bio, just so that you know how dope he is. He's a 2023 New Jersey State Council of the Arts Fellow. He's the author of 5 books, including 4 poetry collections, Melancolía, Black, Maybe, and Afro Lyric, Elegies, and the recently published What Can I Tell You? The selected poems, he got them selected, of Roberto Carlos Garcia, and the new book, which just came out like this week, an essay collection, Traveling Freely, from Northwestern Press. And he is the founder of Grit Fresh Books, an incredible indie press. So, I know you're ready. You're ready now. Okay, so I learned this from Sandra Garcia Rivera. We're gonna warm up those hands. Okay, let's do the baby clap. Just get a little, I know it's getting a little chill. We gotta warm them up, right? And then we're gonna do a little bit bigger, right? A little bit bigger, right? Okay, and then we're gonna let go, the joy,
there's some more seats up here, y'all. If y'all can make your way.
We like people.
Yes. Thank you. That was awesome. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. I just want to say what an honor it is to be here reading with both of y'all after reading so much of your work and learning at your, not at your feet, but at the feet of your books. Thank you for your work. I'll just get started. I wanted to give a shout out to James Baldwin. This is the centennial year. I'm also thinking of a very dear friend who just lost her mom while I was driving over here. I got that news, so help me hold her close, y'all. I appreciate that. From the river to the sea, Palestine must be free. Haiti is the birthplace of Black revolution on this side of the world. So we must ensure that Haiti be free as well. And we can never forget the motherland. We gotta be thinking about Congo, we gotta be thinking of Sudan. So with them in our hearts, I'll take off. So just throw something at me when it's time for me to stop. You know, you got me, right? Duplicity. Hard truth. First thing I do as I breathe into a room is search for brown and Black faces bobbing in America's post-racial waters. I swim peripheral glances, backstroke being ignored, wade on a chair in a corner of the room and chat up the help until some not brown or Black one tosses me an integration lifeline. Hard truth. Light and dark sparkle the waters like tinsel. Pretty chimera. No one really has to. Does anyone really have to talk to me? Savior complex. 1. Kneel and make salat 5 times a day. If the world knew what birds know of love, each one of you could be part of me. Think how many could be saved. I too am able to watch the world burn from a deck in the woods, a drink in my hand. We believe that's okay. 2. Supplicate the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I agree about wine, bread, and olives, vespers. I'll hold hands with you and we'll listen to one another's pain, the love between us, a peace accord, an oasis in hell, a dream temple we enter asleep only. Self-portrait in American Black for the silent. I am that I am what America TVs me. Monstrous chameleon, schizophrenic genus, transformed, transmuted, switching black image for your mind's white eye. Line up the game winner. Shoot it! I stand arms raised. I am on the corner. Don't shoot! I stand arms raised. The crowd gives a standing ovation. I stand, mic in hand, arms raised. I am a god. Now hurry up with my damn massage. The crowd sings along. I am unseen. I am conjured. I am that I am the entertainment you seek when you need to dance, to sport, to laugh, to cry, to feel like God. I am that I am what America's narrative makes me. A struggle ensues, a brief altercation, and I stand as death's bride. Arms raised, arms wide. Black Play-Doh for your mind's white eye. Thank you. A riot in images. A hooded sweatshirt hung upside down, flag at half-mast. A cop puffs and puffs a teen down a city street. One's running scared, one's running fast. Two hearts buck, one heart blown away like a sand castle in a storm. Weary eyes weep, observe a void in a torso and another. Woolly black hair, bloody sponge mats the pavement, a dragon tail of white, black, and brown faces, a cop searing like a conifer tree in centuries-old fire. Ash falls on lips and tongues, ash on eyelids, heaps of ash from the reckoning. Bricks melt like butter in the sun, people melt like ice in rum. Mercy. 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 Water on cracked, bleeding lips. So the word casta is the Spanish word for cast, and a casta painting is a 18th to 19th century piece of art that depicts what the children of certain unions will be called. So a Spaniard and an African, if they have a child, that child is called a mulatto. Perhaps you guys have heard this term, right? This term means mule, and James Baldwin has, in The Devil Finds Work, a wonderful essay where he explains, right, that the mule was not supposed to survive. It was just used to be worked, right? And so there's a whole kind of taxonomy of these names that, you know, are either like a kind of porridge or a type of animal that is applied to people around the world. Casta. Conquistador. Español. Peninsular. Europeo. Colonized. Americano. Indio. Amerindian. Stolen. Slave. Negro. Africano. Español. Colony. Criollo. Colonial. Indio, español, mestizo, rape, español, mestizo, castizo, pass, español, mafa, colony, slavery, African, español, mulatto, rape, español, mulatto, morisco, pass, and it goes on. Español y morisco, chino. Chino and Indio, salta atrás y mulato, lobo, lobo y chino, jíbaro, jíbaro y mulato, albarazado, albarazado y negro, cambujo, cambujo y indio, zambaigo, zambaigo y lobo, calpa mulato y cambujo, tente en el aire y mulato, no te entiendo y indio, torna atrás. So no te entiendo means I don't understand you or what you are. and torna atrás means you're a step back in evolution. And these are the kinds of names applied to the children of certain unions. And it goes on. Terceron, 1/3, Negro. Quadroon, 1/4, Negro. Quinteroon, 1/5, Negro. Hexadecaroon, 1/6, Negro. Octoroon, Musty, 1/8, Negro. Mustafino, 1/16, Negro. Brife, Cafuso, 3/4, Negro. And it goes on. Trigueño, trigueñito, cimarrón, rojizo, moreno, morenito, quemao, indiecito, prieto, indio, clarito, criollo, claro, oscurito, blanco, oscuro, quemadito, negro, fair, light skin, high yellow, red bone, olive, mid-tone, brown, dark brown, black, and it goes on. White, not Hispanic, Latino. Black, not Hispanic, Latino. Native American. White, Hispanic, Latino. Black, Hispanic, Latino. Asian, not Hispanic, Latino. Asian, Hispanic, Latino. 2 or more races, not Hispanic, Latino. So what's always interesting to me is the way the language keeps changing. But it has the same goal, right? I'm gonna end on a bit of a longer poem, but before that I'll read this short one. It's called The Love Poem, Post-Love. I don't want to be afraid to love. I want to know where to love from. The heart, everyone says, please. The heart is made of sand, crafted by children pretending on a beach, today buried in it, tomorrow small hands and starfish stencils erased by the sea. And on it goes, forever changing. I'm going to love from the soles of my feet, from every place I've ever been, the supermarket parking lot, prison, the dance floor, my vegetable garden, all the kitchens, the beds, and dream veils, so that when I enter my beloved, all that I am enters with me, and all my beloved is enters me. This is how I want to know love, through the gentle pain of experience, because birds never ask, is this song? Rivers never ask, is the ocean this way? And I'm going to end with this poem called Elegy for All of It. Sometimes, if I catch a white person staring at me as I hop in my car, I imagine them calculating whether or not I need reparations. I mean, they don't know I'm Afro-Latino, but to racists, black is black, which is true, but not in the way they think it's true. I was almost done eating my beef and broccoli when a white woman strolled into Chow's Walk and ordered a pint of plain white rice, please. Just white rice. I heard the owner ask, nothing else? She repeated, just plain white rice, please. A short standoff ensued. Very short. Should I take your money or spit in your face short? The proprietor shouted the order to the kitchen. Shortly, the white rice and the money changed hands. My daughter Lily brought home a Black History Month project. I love baseball, so she chose Jackie Robinson. She read me the short story she was given about Jackie Robinson's life. Jackie Robinson was the first black man to play in the major leagues. In order to play in the majors, Jackie had to control his anger. Pause. I flip ahead. I flip back to the cover. I flip to the assignment instructions, but there is no explanation as to why Jackie Robinson had to control his anger. No racist white ball players, no racist white fans in the stadium, no segregation in baseball, no racism. Institutions will erase racism from history, but be racist every single day. The Monday after Tamir Rice's murder, many white people I knew went on with their lives. Their social media feeds a mix of ironic humor and smiling faces and anything but Black Lives Mattering. I hit like on some of them, waited a few minutes and hit unlike, and let that hang in the air. Hopefully they struggled with what that meant. The day we learned of Alton Sterling's murder, I ate a long lunch with a white friend, maybe 2 hours, and they never brought it up. The next day, Philando Castile was murdered, and they never brought it up. It went on like this for a while. I counted. Dear reader, I've heard white people say, I don't know, I didn't want to get too heavy. Laugh out loud. At these times, I think of insert white celebrity getting rich off Black culture. Patron saints of white silence. Dear white reader, we're being slaughtered catch as catch can. By all means, go back to your daily dose of internet video. We watch men and women level buildings, superheroes we call them, watch them explode planets and kill millions. We watch for entertainment. It tastes good to us. Walking around Times Square one day, a Buddhist grabbed my wrist and tied a bracelet to it. He offered me countless blessings. He said the bracelet would protect me, and he gave me a little rolled piece of parchment for good fortune. I asked, what's the catch? You see, we're building a temple, he replied, and we'd like a donation of $10 or $20. I honestly had no cash on me. I apologized. He quickly untied the bracelet, took back his parchment, and left. That's capitalism. In poem for Yusef Hawkins, Felipe Luciano writes, when Black people march back to the sea, they're taking America with them. And no one will be able to stop them. Amen. We all out. In the drawing, the execution of French soldiers, Haitian revolutionaries are hanging the titular soldiers well into the background for miles and even up into the mountains. The drawing is black and white, but the sky was certainly Caribbean blue, and the sun had to be cooking that wool and silk uniform. Sweat and rope burning the neck flesh. If you look closely, you can see a kind of frenzy on the Haitians' faces. What a spectacular way to end your oppression. To change places with the lash master who just the week before probably beat the blood from your skin. Spectacular. Eric Garner, Michael Brown, Tamir Rice, Walter Scott, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, Stephen Clark, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Amadou Diallo, Kenneth Chamberlain, Jonathan Farrell, John Crawford III, Jordan Edwards, Botham Jean, Tatiana Jefferson, Eleanor Bumpers, Alberta Spruill, Sandra Bland, Tony McDade, Ayanna Stanley Jones, Katherine Johnston, Deborah Danner, Khalif Browder, Trayvon Martin, Edmund Perry, Jose Garcia, Henry Dumas, Michael Stewart, Randolph Evans, Jordan Davis, Rayshard Brooks, Yusef Hawkins, Oscar Grant, Freddie Gray, Sam DuBose, Terrence Crutcher, Jamar Clark, Jeremy McDowell, William Chapman II, Eric Harris, Akai Gurley, Carlos Ingram Lopez, Sean Monterosa, Jose Soto, Israel Hernandez Locke, Elijah McClain, Magdiel Sanchez, Daniel Harris. Every year of every decade, there is a list. Remember that. Thank you.
One more time for Roberto Carlos Garcia. Thank you, Roberto. I feel like we've been taken to Poetry Church. It's the only church I darken the door of these days, but it is the beauteous church. Thank you. I want to remind you all that we have incredible readings coming up next month and the month thereafter and every month thereafter. But November, and we're the third Sunday of every month at 5 o'clock right here at Young American in November. And Zadi Keita, who's here with us now. Wave to the beautiful people. There she is. And Nikki Hurd, who's just moved to Lancaster, PA. So we're super lucky to have her here too next month. And then in December, Germantown's own Ursula Rucker. And a truly brilliant poet, well, they're all brilliant, poet from New York is joining us, Miller Oberman, who is also Seth's cousin. We got a poetry family, all right, you know. I also want to, I know you've all made a contribution to be here today. If you have the means, I want to invite you to donate more. Rena and I just, dreamed this up out of bare cloth, and we're fundraising as we go. All the donations go for honoraria to pay the damn poets. Because how often do poets get asked to do stuff for free? All the time, am I telling you that, right? So please, you can go to the front. Tess is still there. Thank you, Tess. And we take your cash, we take your checks, we take your, you use the QR code for Venmo, and we have the Swipey John, the square on my phone up there. There you go. So we have all those ways of taking donations, and those are deeply, deeply appreciated. We'll also be doing some fundraising from foundations and those, government funds, but right now, those things take 6 months at least. So thank you so much. Again, we're so grateful to Young American to be here. I want to do a shout out to Anne-Marie Doley, who's in the middle there, who wrote a beautiful story for the Chestnut Hill Local before our first reading. It's just gorgeous, and it's still online. You can go and look for it. It's just beautiful. And I don't think Malika is here. Malika Fryan also wrote something beautiful for the Germantown Info Hub. So treasure our local media sources. That's right. They are telling us what's really going on in our communities. Okay. I'm incredibly fortunate to introduce our next poet, who is Carmen Calatayud. In the fall of 2002, I moved to Washington, D.C. It was just a year after September 11th, and George W. Bush and his murderous cronies were trying to convince us that there was no alternative. We had to invade Iraq. Some of you were alive then and remember that. Many of us said no, including a huge international uprising of poets in the Poets Against the War movement. And Carmen was one of the first poets I joined with in community in this organizing and poetic activism in DC. We brought poetry to the anti-war barricades, as so many are doing now, in protest against Israel's US-sponsored war on the Palestinian people. I'm really honored to call Carmen my comrade and my friend for over 20 years now. And now I'm going to read her beautiful bio. Carmen Calatayud is the daughter of immigrants, as am I, a Spanish father and an Irish mother. Her second book, brilliant and available for sale from Uncle Bobby's at the back, This Tangled Body, was published this year by FlowerSong Press in conjunction with the wonderful organization Letras Latinas. Her first book, In the Company of Spirits, was a runner-up for the Academy of American Poets Walt Whitman Award and an Andrés Montoya Poetry Prize finalist. Her poems have appeared widely in journals such as Anti-Heroin Chic, Poet Lore, Poetry, and Rogue Agent. She's a Larry Neal Poetry Award winner the year I came in third, a Best of La Bloga winner, and a member of the Macondo Writers Workshop. She's a DC area native, but living right now in San Antonio, Texas. All the way from San Antonio, Texas, I give you Carmen Calatayud.
Hello, lovers of poetry and peace. Hello. Did I ever think, yeah, I think it's, thank you. It goes without saying that I'm so honored to be in the same space with Sonia Sanchez and with Roberto Carlos Garcia. Yes. So I have lived near the border a couple of times, meaning the border of US and Mexico. I lived in Tucson in the 90s. And now I live in San Antonio, Texas. And I've done a lot of thinking about borders over the years. And this first poem is about borders, it's about walls. And I think about all the walls, including the walls and the fences in Gaza and in the US-Mexico area, and just really all over the world, and the damage that they do to keep people out. And this is called Walls. What I told you under the covers is everything I believe. The skeleton of a horse runs along the wall. You must climb over walls to take your place. Those in charge, if you wait for them to do the right thing, you'll be waiting 17 lifetimes. Listen to the bones in a galloping horse. Don't awaken to a day that has already been written and pretend to hope. The right thing won't come to you. You have to take it. Years fall off the calendar of a horse's frame. There are walls everywhere. Your work is to knock them down with your eyes, then go toward tenderness. Horse is your ancestor. Ancestors never disappear when you are conjuring a life. What I told you under the covers is everything I believe. So as you were talking about the Iraq War, Sarah, started thinking about a poem I wrote about the 80s. Hopefully there are plenty of people here that remember the 80s. Yes, yes. So I should have called this poem The Reagan Years, but I decided to come up with a better title, I hope. It's called Decade in the Dark, the 80s. And I think this is for every city across America, but I happen to be in DC, and so that's really where this is set. We enlist in the search for American heaven. Silver glitter around our eyes, all shimmer for a new wave face. Time to slash and run from life. Punks pointing out wars in Nicaragua and El Salvador. Black eyeliner, dark circles, fingernails chewed. Underground radio identity. Sleeping pills have a paradoxical effect. Pretend laughter, pewter clouds. We hide in the hiding, sing ghost machine songs. Sheath of apartheid covers the globe. Materialism sanctified. The sky stays gray over the White House the entire decade. We are nomads who crawl across this city. Black beauties and crack keep us awake during HIV and homelessness. Gay photographs censored. The only flowers we see in hospital rooms. Everything captured in black and white. Absence of sun ignored. We dance in tunnels and tombs. This darkness, our iridescence. Streetlights malfunction, stars exit the celestial sphere. We develop night vision like wolves with nowhere to go. So this particular book has a lot about grief and war and migration. And it also has some poems about addiction. And so this poem is for anyone who is suffering from addiction, has suffered from addiction, is in recovery, loves someone with an addiction. It's called Godmother. There's a woman on her front porch inhaling her cigarette. With the slender white stick between her fingers, she's in love. My fingers pretend to play piano while tapping my left arm. Blue-green vein rises, and I stroke it like a purring cat. It's been 4 weeks, heroine, and I need you to feel nothing. There is so much I want to tell you. I want to thank you for being my godmother, for taking me to the church where God doesn't care and we don't pretend he does. Truth blooms in a way a moon girl can understand. Truth being, there is no me. Just velvet junk afterglow that streams from stars into my arm. Wish magic alone could blow my heart open, fill it with a mouth to kiss all the losses. On the sidewalk in front of my feet, a gray feather just landed. The woman lights another cigarette. The smoke smells like her name, Dulce. I pick up the feather and put its point to my vein, dream of burnt caramel streaming in, lips smacked from fast joy. The sweet blur gone too quick. I'm going to read just 2 more poems. So both of my parents survived war as children, so I will never, ever stop speaking out about war anywhere in the world. And especially now, while we are in the midst of one of many genocides, I will say. This poem took me many years to write. My father survived the Spanish Civil War as a child. And so this poem is for him, and he's no longer with us, at least on this plane. To my father Juan, who thought there was a war to end all wars. Valencia, España. The soldiers took your Tío Rafa, dragged out of bed and shot in the street, the Franco way. The Generalissimo in my dreams sucked away your soul when they killed Rafael. You and your friends played soccer around the bodies. Death was a daily smell, and the sound of mothers who screamed like hyenas hung in the air. All of this wasn't ordained by the Holy Ghost, but an angel grabbed you by the cojones and told you to go on. Now you are gone, and I am sleepless inside this cave. I can't see heaven, but sometimes feel its contents squirm. It is wise to ask, who is my guide during these wicked times? Archangel Michael sticks his finger down my throat, and now I have to tell your story. Your country absorbed the chaos. You passed it on through your chromosomes, and I have this DNA of atrocities. You didn't mean to thrash out your life, but there was the hurricane of war, and nothing to barter for food. Your face purple with rage. I know you are wondering, how is it that Franco and George Wallace are still alive and still find ways to run this world? At every turn, you thought America would make sense. That hoarding canned food in the basement would save us all. I don't blame you. Now all that's left is to take what you told me and transmute it for others. And yes, they have to eat it, because this memory is all I can serve. Thank you. I'm going to finish with one last poem. So I certainly don't speak for all children of immigrants, but there is something about, in my experience, with parents from two different countries, and then trying to be a child of this country that was very confusing and challenging, and always created for me a struggle of belonging. In fact, I've moved around a lot. And so this is a poem about maybe finally finding home. Passport to the body's country. I talk with dying dandelions after prayer to fly away from my dislocated story. Let them offer white heads of wisdom before the breath of wind comes. I dance with milkweed at night and hold the more of me when I can. Negotiate decades of despondence, years without sisters. Recognize I stripped myself of cities to find the right season. Carried love in caskets at each stop and still no revelation. Brain cells blazed by jumps and falls into the next place. Devoured my body by the search for ground that could be mine. Final destination, my bone marrow. I have the blood I need. These days, I write my way into the light. Let go of lost maps. Remember, I have earned a seat at the table of home. Thank you so much. Peace.
Carmen Calatayud, y'all, let's give it up. Woo! So usually I read a poem of my own to close out the evening, but I am not going to follow my hero, heroine, brilliant sister Sonia Sanchez, so I'm going to read a poem now. And, and then I'm going to introduce Sister Sonia. I don't think it needs an introduction because I talked about this a little earlier. I am asked what another world looks like. We step outside and small children, sleek from sprinklers raining the scent of every gorgeous night, sing to us their poems. The poems sing back the child's life The poems sing back the child's long life ahead. Cousins who grow side by side, each child a cousin, skating that love, racing. And the poem is a ripe pomegranate, intricate and staining with sweet red the fingers, face, and teeth of the child, the vision of the child full of the pomegranate poem. The poem is play, and the poem is grown-ups telling their growing-up stories. And the poem is potluck suppers, saffron rice, tangy greens, roasted peppers, aromas of 1,000 cuisines. History is in the poem, and sadness. But the child's poem sings the possible, sings the body. The child's poem is pleasure, high swings and kicking feet, and always a warm bed. Fingers to entwine. The child steps outside and we listen for her poem. This Latrice poem, this Maria poem, this Li Hua poem, this Joanne poem, this Ruth poem, this Habibi poem, this Earth poem, this possible poem, this other world poem, this breath, this believing, living poem breath. Thank you. And as a shout out to the editors among us, I want to thank, the journal I'm going to remember, not the name of the editor, but the Notre Dame Review, which published this poem. So support our literary culture as you are today. It's so vital to all of us. The moment you've been waiting for. After a few years of DC Poets Against the War organizing, as I was talking about in Carmen's introduction, some of us started dreaming of a larger effort. I'm echoing. A national festival of socially engaged poetry in Washington, D.C., which is how the organization Split This Rock was born. And one of the very first poets we thought of course, who exemplified the spirit of welcome and challenge that was at the center of Split This Rock and of this series, Wild Indigo, was Sonia Sanchez. We were doing it on a wing and a prayer. At the very first reading, we needed duct tape because the mic wouldn't fit in the mic stand. That's what I'm talking about. Always bring tape. That's what you learn. But at that very first festival, Sister Sonia stood on the table, on top of a table, in the middle of the very loud and huge restaurant and performance space books and bookstore Busboys and Poets, and kicked off that first festival, invoking our poetic and activist ancestors and bringing them into the room. I'm going to start crying. She then featured in the festival when we paid tribute to June Jordan, who had passed away 10 years before that. And then, to close out what, at the moment, is the last festival, I don't know if it'll come back or not, but in 2018, she gave just a brilliant magisterial reading as the very last of that festival, leaving us all in tears. I stepped down from Split This Rock the following year and moved to Philadelphia, and I just feel so honored to have been welcomed by my neighbor and by yours, the extraordinary Sonia Sanchez, who celebrated her 90th birthday last year. So I have a short bio, which I spent a long time cutting down so that we would welcome her up. So I'm just going to tell you she's the author of more than 20 books, including Homegirls and Hand Grenades and Does Your House Have Lions, which are both for sale here, most recently collected poems. She's the recipient of a long list of awards. You can go and read her bio, including the Ruth Lilly Poetry Prize, the Jackson Poetry Prize, the Poetry Society of America's Robert Frost Medal. She was the very first poet laureate of Philadelphia, with the mayor calling her the longtime conscience of the city. If you haven't seen Bad Sonia Sanchez, the documentary of her life and work. It's an extraordinary one. Check it out. It was nominated for an Emmy. She co-founded, and I know this from her directly, one of the first Black Studies programs in the country at San Francisco State University. She was the first presidential fellow at Temple University, and for many years held the Laura Carnell Chair in English there. You know I could keep on going forever, but I will not, because I bring up Sister Sonia Sanchez. Anyway, got chilly.
Oh, boy, you have no idea. Hello, everybody. Hello. Usually I'm not this cold, but I am frozen, let me tell you. But let us, yes? No. Thanks a lot. I need to run around the block. Is that too low? Can you hear? Yes. Why don't you pull it up just a little bit instead of getting it closer? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Welcome to a place called Germantown. I remember the first day in my class at a place called UPenn. Someone asked, where did you move from? I said, Amherst. And they said, and where do you live? I said, Germantown. And they all flipped, you know. I didn't know there was something wrong with Germantown. Yeah, but that was interesting. But I've been there, you got here in 41, so you all do the mathematics on that one. A long time. At a time where we happened to have gotten two mailings, a morning mail delivery and an evening delivery in a place called Germantown, a place where we had a small post office. We had a place where you could go get your gifts wrapped. We had all the 5 and 10 cent stores. We had 3 major, mind you, listen to that, major places where you could buy clothing. And people didn't go downtown to buy the clothing. They came to Germantown. But then they built a project, and all of a sudden, the businesses left, the banks left, whatever. It's also amazing the politics of the city and of the world also, too, if you truly understand that. But the politics of poetry still resides wherever, still is here among all of us. And on many levels, we try to make sure, that it continues. Does this go up at all? Okay, thanks. And can you bring light too? Oh, and then there was light. That's all right, I'll pick it up, okay? How's that? Oh, genius. Okay, thanks, hon. Yeah, but don't get uncomfortable. Just right. I want to begin with a poem. You're right, I didn't realize I would need it. Thanks. I got it. A poem called Belly, Buttocks, and Straight Spines for Sister Wangechi Mutu. I was asked to write something about her work. She was at UPenn, and they wanted to have something written about the exhibit and her work. And I said, can I have a key? can I come in here and just sit among her work? And they said, we've never done that before. I said, well, you can come check my house. I won't escape with it, okay? And I came there 4 days in a row. I went around and looked at the exhibit, all the things. She had exhibits on things where women were violated on the continent, when doctors began to experiment with women's bodies. Also, too, all of that was there. And I would go to sleep and wake up, and go to sleep and wake up, and go to sleep and wake up, and then go home and write. I'd come the next day, get there 12 noon, and I would read and go to sleep and wake up and eat something, go to sleep and wake up and eat something, go to sleep and wake up, and about 8, 9 o'clock I go home again. And I did that for 2 more days. And then I sat down at my desk 1 day later and wrote this poem. Belly, buttocks, and straight spines for Sister Wangichibutu 1. You, inegatic woman exploding from clouds and intestines, riverbanks, kneecaps, veins, and horizons, tongues embroidered with eyelashes. You burn in my throat. I walk your footsteps singing, you are here, you are there, you will never go away. You kiss your own breath, sleepwalk your eyes, stretch out with moths, singing your legs too. I know you butterfly sweet, your lips taste of the sea, the years, dusty with herstory, anticipate light. Your hands riot, your hands riot. Let me hold that, honey.
We're trying to get a lamp.
We're working on a light over here.
We're working on a lamp.
Please don't leave my purse.
Mike says yes, he can make an outlet happen.
Okay.
Thanks. I just need a tissue. Thank you. I know you, butterfly sweet. Your lips taste of the sea, the years dusty with herstory, anticipate light. Your hands ride with pain, collapse in new prayer. Touch this western stained glass where ghosts commit themselves to military blood. The bleated hips surrounding your teeth wrapped in laughter, blood laughter, brittle noise, seaweed souls, whistling birds. Whose little pumpkin are you? Who is your sister? Where is your mama? Our thumbs bleed ashes in this travel dust bowl. This is a blues sermon, I think, hanging from the sky, scratching at the night where literary brains demystify death, sing from the angle of your light. You turn at the waist in red and purple confetti. The day stitches up your python mouth. You stroll black beyond the stars, star-leaping, black-skinned woman. Sing from the angle of the camera, you become the mugshot, mugging a century of incestuous nipples. Sound, video, smell, riding death on its lens. Do not feed the animals, they will bite one day. Who speaks? Who has spoken this squat language? Where are the vowels and consonants and diphthongs? Do not feed the animals, they squat in herds and will bite one day. 4. Red-orange breasts, leaking medical hieroglyphics, bones for sale, immaculate bones for sale. Ethiopian bodies leaking into the ground, stage right, stage left, old clothes unburied, children's eyes undressed, men's pants unzipped, women's lips slipping, standing still backstage, awaiting modernity. Masters, monsters with batons. There we go. Yep, I felt it. No, but thanks a lot. Good. There you go. I actually, thanks. I love you too. I got it, honey. Okay, I just got to see it, all right? Ethiopian bodies leaking into the ground, stage left, old clothes unburied, eyes undressed, men's pants unzipped, women's lips slipping, standing still backstage, awaiting modernity, master monsters with batons, conducted. Reminds me of the first time we read Baraka and Larry Neal and myself. What was so interesting in this place that they didn't, was surprised we were coming, that everything went wrong. And Baraka, in his amazing, amazing mouth, said, I guess they didn't know we was coming, huh? I said, but they made up for it. What's in a name? A leg, a heart, a skull, an ancestral wind. Your intellect teases us with zero tolerance for lies. What's in a kiss, a smell, a black woman in white chalk, a woman sleepwalking on corners? What is erotic about a false step? Yo me espero, I wait for my coming, I wait for my coming. Now as your congregational knees kneel, now that your birth lasts a long pause, now that you sigh amid the pale gaze of thirst, is that God's tongue sliding down your throat? Why, you'll say, I know it. Where is this brown-skinned woman going with her military hair, a bright hysterical flower, eating cake, smiling cake, regurgitating cake? You'll say, I know it. Smell the Jelly Roll woman squatting in her skin, her bright face eating blues sorrow. Smell the doctoral urgency of her shudderings, female pain profiling her hunger. Who scrubs the day white while women fall down with crucifixions? Can you hear their bird spirits strumming gravity? Can you hear the saxophone bloodletting the ghost shout? Can you play this woman with your fingers? Can you hear her confetti feet dancing under positive rhythms? Now hear this, harpsichord teeth, mock breath smiles, put vaginas in a pill box for a while, telegraphic butters in bathroom stalls. You are tattooed on your eyes against the tabloid walls. Mouths anointed with peacock pricks. Hey, here I am, come along, take your pick. Hey, listen, woman of eye socket bones. Love can wear you down to a spinal eye bone. Love can make you drink your own blood. Lesson you got to catch us with. Don't go playing with love, blood. Silence, my share. Gayate, mi amor. No consecrated birth waters today. No quicksilver blankets today. No surgical procedures today. Just Bantu music with an asterisk beat today. Just a slight shudder under your arms today. Just a pistol whip spin today. Just a lost pulse beat today. Just a railroad train of butts today. Just a machete beat against the sky today. Just some cocked cocks standing in attention today. Listen, Sister Wangechi. You hear me, don't you? And you hear, don't you, how your collages dance these amputee delirium. Sister Wangechi, you hear me, don't you? You hear the sacred music eavesdropping these gallery walls, praising your beauty and bones in this hallway of lost sermons. You hear me, don't you? You hear the children running a furious circle of legs, jumping adolescent rhymes as they light up stress with garbage bag balls as they spill their magical spines, their genius, their surplus knees on streets. It is evening, and we have arrived in your arms of lost seconds. You hear me, don't you? Even as you navigate this halo of ordained voyages, as you uncork the daylight past these shadows, past our doors left open, and your gentle breath fills the day with sweet eyelids of silver as you arrive at the ark of your name. Sister Wangichi Mutu, you hear me, don't you? And I invoke your name, your gallery of female matadors as they come and dance in thunder. That's a piece, disjointed, but anyway, it's a piece. I got it. Thanks, honey. Ooh. Yeah.
No, you're good.
Haku and Haka for Harriet Tubman. We are free because of Harriet Tubman, December 1850. Keziah, Jolie Bowley, James Arthur Bowley, 6 years old. Araminta baby, John Bowley free, early 1851. Moses lost brother, unidentified man, late 1851. Unidentified man called brother, unidentified wife of brother, unidentified, fall 1852. Unidentified, June 1854, Winnebar, Johnson, Robert Ross, alias John Stewart brother, Henry Ross, alias William Henry Stewart, Benjamin Ross Jr., Jane Kane, Peter Jackson, John Chase, alias Daniel Lord, unidentified, possibly George Ross, unidentified, possible William Thornsborn, unidentified, early 1855, Harriet Ann Parker Ross, alias Harriet Ann Stewart, free, wife of William Henry Ross Stewart Sr., William Henry Ross, free son of William Ross Stewart, John Isaiah Ross, alias John, William Henry Ross Stewart Jr. December 1855, Henry Hooper, probably guided. May 1856, Ben Jackson, James Coleman, Henry Hopkins, William Conaway, unidentified. We are free because of Harriet Tubman, October 1856, Tilly, November 1856, Bailey, Pendleton, Manakee. May 1857, Harriet Green Ross, alias Harriet Stewart, Benjamin Ross, November, December 1860, Stephen Innes, Maria Innes, Harriet Innes, Amanda Innes, Baby Innes, John Cornish, unidentified woman, unknown dates, Margaret Stewart, Anne Marie Stewart, unidentified twin girl, unidentified, Amelia Hollis, Henry Carroll, unidentified. Haku and Tanka for Harriet Tubman. Picture a woman riding thunder on the legs of slavery. Picture a woman walking southern landscapes burning with moons. Picture her kissing our spines, saying no to the eyes of slavery. Picture her rotating the earth into a shape of lives becoming. Picture her leaning into the eyes of our birth clouds. Picture a woman moving in winter black, bringing summer moving. Picture this woman saying no to the constant yes of slavery. Picture a woman jumping rivers, her legs inhaling moons. Picture her ripe the seasons of legs running. Picture her tasting the secret corners of woods. Picture her saying, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars, to change the world. Imagine her words, every great dream begins with a dreamer. Imagine her saying, I freed 1,000 slaves, could have freed 1,000 more if they only knew they were slaves. Imagine her humming, how many days we got, before we taste freedom. Imagine a woman asking, how many workers for this freedom quilt? Picture her saying, a live runaway could do great harm by going back, but a dead runaway could tell no secrets. Picture the daylight, bringing her to woods full of birth wounds. Picture John Brown shaking her hands 3 times saying, General Tubman, General Tubman, General Tubman. Picture her words, there's 2 things got a right to death and liberty. Picture her saying no to a play called Uncle Tom's Cabin. I am the real thing. Picture a black woman could not read or write. I got it, honey. Telling freedom refrains. Picture her face turning southward, walking down a southern road. Picture this woman, freedom bound, tasting a people's preserved breath. Picture her singing Red Moon's Surprise in Life. Picture this woman of royalty wearing a crown of morning air. Picture her walking, running, reviving a country's breath. Picture black voices leaving behind lost tongues. Picture her painting rainbows on a summer bent people. Picture a woman walking on freedom legs, a sea spray of life. Picture her moon bent legs dancing inside freedom's guitar. So that was something that I did. And it is an honor to be here. It is an honor to see a place called Germantown move in the way that it looked when I first moved here in a time, forget now, what year it was, to be frank. Oh, 1976. I read it, but I was wondering if anyone remembered what that was about, 1976. When you look at what's going on in America today, you really have to go back and study 1976, because we need to study what that is truly all about. And we probably need to study what this election is truly all about. That I'm not allowed to tell you whom to vote for, but I certainly can tell you get out and vote. Get up in the morning and vote. Come from work and vote. We need to vote. We need to make sure that people, who lived on this earth and died to vote, who were beat up in jails, who were killed because they voted, who were too scared to vote, who wouldn't go out and vote, who would speak out from there at that lunch and go vote and come back and tell their boss, oh, they just had a late lunch. I'm talking about people exercising their God-given right to vote. You need to vote. You need to go out and exercise that. And don't tell me that you're tired of seeing women always taking the upper road. Well, then you can take the upper road also too. I'm talking about something that's going on in America that I remember this morning I got up and I was talking to Brother Baraka and some other people. And I said, remember we got on stages and said, fascism is in America. People booed us. Booed us. Literally booed us. It's an amazing moment, whatever. And now you can get up and say fascism is overtaking America, and you better not boo because you better look and see what is going on, in a place called America. And so we need to get out and we need to vote. We need to exercise that for women who were put in jails and beaten, and men beat her, and men shredded her down to her inner self. I turned 90 years of age, and some people called and said, isn't that something? And I said, yes, it is something. I said, isn't it amazing? Each year, people in our group who got a birthday gave praise that they had a birthday. It wasn't a given, and it still isn't a given, whatever, I don't care what politics you run with, it is not a given that you will indeed at some different point, have a tomorrow. These are dangerous times you're living in, and our children are living in massive danger in this place called America. In this place where our children still are not taught well, they don't have the schools that they should have, and yet in all we have wars, in other places, but in our own country, the children are not taught properly. The children do not get what they should get. But one would hope that if we vote and get out and vote well, that it is not incumbent upon us to 3 years and 2 after having voted that then we run out for 1 year and want to affect change. The moment that person or people get elected, the next day our behinds are to be out knocking on doors saying simply, in 4 years, you will have another vote. And people will not be saying that, oh, by golly, by gee, this is a good man, and what that means to all of us. What I want to say simply at some particular point is that when someone said to me over the phone that they weren't going to vote, I remembered how people in our neighborhoods would sneak out to vote, most especially those who were told not to vote. Who were told not to vote. Don't you go out there and vote, girl, you're going to get in some trouble if you vote, whatever. And yet in all, here we is, are we not? People who now are able to vote, and we don't vote. We don't go out, or we say, oh, we don't need a woman as president. Then what do you mean? What do you need? What do you need then? What do you really need at some point? What do we all need in this place called America? What do we need in Germantown again? We need the stores that used to be in Germantown. We need the post office that used to be in Germantown when I moved. We really need things at the moment. They built projects in a place called Germantown. Everything left. The banks left, whatever. Isn't that amazing? And I went, as a new person, went around asking, why is this happening? They said, okay, troublemaker. You think I'm kidding, don't you? What you see with me today is that, when people tell me they're not going to vote, I want to say, you're a stupid NF, you know what I mean? But I don't say that. I go into an intellectual chant and begin to talk about all the people who died for you to vote, my dear sister. When men tell me they're not voting, whatever, or they're not voting for someone who might do something good for this country, whatever, I don't say curse them out, whatever. I just say that's an interesting way of looking at this voting at some point. And sit on my stoop with them, sit on my porch and begin to talk about what does it really mean to vote. You have to vote in an intelligent fashion. You just don't go out and cast a vote, But I remember being in a place called Philadelphia, the first time I saw voting in this place, that I saw people actually giving people money to vote, to go inside, And I said to my children, I said, we're the police. Why are they not stopping that? I mean, why are they watching someone give some guy $10 and say, go inside and vote? And no one said anything about that at all, period. And so, someone said to me recently, oh, Sister Sanchez, you're still talking about that talk about change, right? And about what it means to be free, right? What it means to really get out and vote, and to look at what you're doing at some particular point. I say, I could be stupid and I could be backwards and I could be getting too old and in my dotage, whatever, etc. But even if I were in my dotage, whatever, I would still say to you, get out and vote, motherfucker, okay? Don't tell me anything that you don't like voting for women.
Say that.
Then I say you should leave this country then and go someplace where they have only men. Okay? But the point is simply this. And I'll say it if you remember no bloody poem that I said. You cannot give this country up to what people are saying here.
That's right.
That you know, this is not about freedom, right? This is not about anything that we've been fighting for years and years and years. You know, you cannot read a book that people talk about what they're going to do to people like us in here. That's going to be all of us sitting here, talking to each other, listening to our poetry, clapping for our poetry, you know, saying simply, oh, wow, yes, right on, you know, let's do that, whatever. But I say to you, the moment, hopefully that we win, the next day, the people who are involved, mind you, with changing the world should be knocking on the doors saying, you know, can I come and have a session with you next week about what it really means to vote, what it really means to live in a place called America, what has been going on in America for the last 50 years, and nobody is paying attention to it at all, period. I am saying simply, that if I cry myself to sleep at night, it's because I listen to young people saying they will not vote. If I cry myself to sleep, I listen to elderly people say they will not vote. You know, if I cry myself to sleep, I look at parents who tell their children, oh, it don't matter that I didn't go out and vote at all, period. It does matter. And what I'm saying, simply, you cannot forget. I knew it would go out. You cannot forget. No, I mean, this happens all the time. I'll read the last poem, and then we can go. Oh, thank you. I love you too. I did some years ago, and I did it down in a place called Washington, D.C. The sister was talking about that. I don't know what happened to her. Yeah, thanks awfully. Yeah, thank you, honey. It's not in here. Right. A poem that I did for a woman by the name of Maxine Green. Some of you might know Maxine Green, knew her. An amazing woman, a professor, and an activist also. And she asked me once, would I do a piece for her group? And I did a piece called Peace. Shanti, a poem for Maxine Green. Peace, what is it? Is it an animal, a bird, a plane, a mineral, a color, a drum beat? Is it a verb, a noun, an adjective, a prophet with no pockets, circling our paragraph lies? Du Bois said the cause of war is the preparation of war. Du Bois said the cause of war is the preparation of war. I say the cause of peace must be the preparation of peace. I say the cause of peace must be the preparation of peace. Blah, blah, blue. Blah, blah, blue, 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 blue. Shall I prepare a table of peace before you in the presence of my enemies? Shall I prepare a table of peace? Will you know how to eat at this table? Where are the thoughts of peace? Where are the knives of peace? Where are the spoons of peace? Where are the eyes of peace? Where are the heads of peace? Where are the tongues of peace? Where are the children of peace? Peace. Peace, peace, peace. Is peace in action a way of life? Is it a tension in our earth bodies? Is peace you and I seeing beyond bombs and babies roasting on the country road? must not be still. We have to take it on the road, marching against Pentagon doors, lurking in obscenity. Peace must not find us on our knees while a country holds hostage the hearts and penises of the workers. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. Can you say peace? Can you resurrect peace? Can you house the language of peace? Can you write a sermon of peace? Can you populate the cause of peace? Please, 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 blue, 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 peace. 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 A long time ago, someone said, I think, therefore I am. A long time ago, someone said, I think, therefore I am. Now we say preemptive strikes, therefore we are. Now we say preemptive strikes, therefore we are. Boo, 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 boo. Can you make peace lighter than air? Can you unfasten your breast of peace? Can you make peace seem like butterflies until peace becomes the noise of the planet, until peace becomes the noise of the planet? I know as MLK knew that the universe is curved ultimately towards justice and peace. I know as MLK knew that the universe is curved ultimately towards justice and peace. For war is the sanction of failure. For war is the sanction of failure. Doom boom 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 doom 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 doom. Martin said a riot is the language of the unheard, and I say a terrorist bomb is the language of the unheard. How to make the unheard heard without blowing themselves and the world up. How to make the unheard heard without blowing themselves and the world up. Most have said speech is my hammer, bang my world into shape, now let it fall. I say peace is my hammer, bang my world into peace and let it fall on the eyes of the children. Prayer shot, do 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 do, prayer shot, do 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 do, do me boo, do me boo, do me boo, do me boo, ding 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 ding. Where are the forks of peace? Where are the knives of peace? Where are the spoons of peace? Where are the eyes of peace? Where are the hands of peace? Where are the tongues of peace? Where are the children of peace? Where are the children of peace? Where are you? You. Where are you? You. Where are you? You. Thank you.
Whose dog is that? What the hell? Why here?
Wow, y'all. Are you feeling changed? Are you feeling activated? Are you going to bring your neighbor and your friend to vote? I hope so. All right, so there are candles happening, y'all. I have one thing to tell you before. Roberto, I love you. Carmen, I love you. Sister Sonia, of course we all love you, and I'm sure all of us love Roberto and Carmen after now. In just a moment, we're going to sing. if you didn't know that you are Stevie Wonder, you are today. And I offer you the blessing. But there is a story for me, very quickly. Once upon a time, I did a workshop with Sister Sonia. And I remember standing next to you and holding your hand, which was the warmest hand I'd ever known, which is quite interesting now that we're cold. But in that, I wrote in a journal about the experience of being changed in that moment. This was 20 years ago. And at a boule, my mom was here with both swords. And I lost that journal. It's the only journal I've lost my whole life. And I was devastated. This was in Detroit. But I like to think that the words and the wisdom that I took away from that moment are still living within my body, but they are also in that journal, and that journal rippled out into the world, and we continue to be touched by that wisdom, that warmth, that celebration, that love that activates us, that energizes us. I am thankful. I am deeply, deeply thankful for you all gathered, for your work, Sister Sonia, for Roberto, your work, for Carmen, your work. Thank you for saying yes. Now we're going to sing. There's a poem that is a genius poem. This is not a small voice from Sister Sonia. I'm not going to read it. Y'all should read it. But let's sing instead in celebration as we close. So, me, ma, right? Like, get your voices ready. I know it's a little delayed, we're about a month beyond, but still we should be celebrating at least a whole year. So, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, happy birthday to you. September, October birthday too. There we go. So we got cake here, we got bubbly here. Our poets are signing. They are right here. We ask that you only have one book. Folks may just sign and date and keep it moving. There are still books in the back that you can sign, you can buy to be signed. And there are also sticky notes in the back that you can write your name on and spell it out. We are so thankful for you all, again, making a good decision and coming to Wild Indigo. Our next reading is the third Sunday of November with Nikki Hurd and Nzadi Keita. Nzadi is right here. So thank you all for making the decision. And Sarah, am I forgetting anything? Because I sometimes forget my name. No, okay, excellent. So get those books. Oh, yeah. And there is a round of hot cider for anybody who wants it from Young Americans. Stephanie has offered that in love and appreciation as you have waited. Thank you so much. Yeah.